NTA International News.
President Muhammadu Buhari to address gathering at Ghana's 61st Independence Anniversary celebrations in Accra. National Commission for Refugees and Chairman NDDC Board condemns killing of United Nations humanitarian workers. And federal government moves to deplete large housing deficit in the country, intensifies effort in monitoring ongoing housing projects. Hello, you're very welcome to NTA International News. My name is Justin Bemunya. Thank you for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari will on Monday depart for Accra, Ghana to attend the country's 61st Independence Anniversary celebration holding at the Independence Square on Tuesday, March 6th. The president is the only foreign leader invited to the historic event as the special guest of honor. And similarly, other than his host, President Nana Akufo-Addo, the Nigerian leader is the only foreign guest scheduled to address the August gathering. President Buhari will use the unique opportunity to reaffirm the long-standing warm relations between the peoples and government of both brotherly nations. He will also underscore Nigeria's commitment to strengthen the bilateral ties and furtherance of democracy, good governance and overall development, not only in the West African sub-region but also African continent. The President and his delegation, which includes the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and National Security Advisor, Babagana Mungunu, will return to Abuja after the celebrations on Tuesday. One of the parents of Dapchi abducted girls, Inspector Sharibu Nathan, has appealed for rapid action on the search for the missing girls. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was in Dapchi, Yobe State, has the rest of the story.
Leah, in yellow dress in this picture, is one of the abducted Dapchi schoolgirls. Inspector and Mrs. Shoribum are the parents of 16-year-old Leah, who is one of the two children they have. It is about 12 days since the unfortunate incident, but the trauma, the agony is still fresh in the minds of the parents and the community. While the search for the girls continue, Dapchi, about 86 kilometers from Damaturu, Yobe State capital, continues to trend.
Since our being in Dapchi, we have never really expected this type of thing in Dapchi. Government should do their best and bring these girls for us.
Just like the Chibok girls, the whole country share their pains. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin, service chiefs are, however, in the Northeast with message of hope and reassurance for the safe return of the missing girls and the review of the counter-insurgency operation. The question the likes of Sharibu asks is, when and how soon will they reunite with their missing children? Question whose answer everyone is wishing and hoping it will be answered soon. 19th February 2018 will for long remain fresh in the minds of the parents and students of Government Girls Science Technical College, Dapchi, Yobe State. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has expressed shock and sadness over the killing of United Nations humanitarian workers in Ran Kalabalge local government area of Borno State. The Federal Commissioner, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, in a statement described the heinous act as callous, bearing in mind the sacrifices aid workers make to serve humanity. She noted that on no account should humanitarian personnel be target of any sort of attack. She condoles with the United Nations, the International Organization for Migrants, and the Nigerian government over the loss. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, she says, remains resolute in discharging its responsibilities of providing assistance and support to concerned persons. In the same vein, Chairman, Board of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, has condemned the killing and injuring of aid workers and security personnel in Ran Town, Borno State, northeast Nigeria following attack by Boko Haram insurgency. Senator Victor Ndoma Egba also expressed deep concern about civilians and others who are either missing or may have been injured or killed in the attack. A statement released by his special advisor further noted that the NDDC and the Niger Delta peoples sympathize with the government and people of Borno State, security agencies and United Nations, other development and aid agencies, and the families of the departed at these difficult times. He affirmed that government is doing all it can to check the menace of the insurgents. A 17-man committee on recovery and management of rustled cattle in Niger State has been inaugurated with a call to effectively discharge its responsibilities aimed at phasing out cattle rustling. Dauda Mohammed reports that the committee is expected to work with the Pulaku Vigilante and other security agencies to achieve the desired objective.
Members of the 17-man Committee on Recovery and Management of Rustled Cattle, who were selected among the 3 Fulani groups and emirate councils in Niger State, have the mandate to ensure transparency and proper accountability of recovered cattle and return to the rightful owners. Inaugurating the committee, Director General Nomadic Affairs Niger State, Abdu Abdullahi Adamu Babayo, said the Abubakar Sani Bello-led administration saw the need to set up the committee that will look into all cattle issues as it relates to rustling based on recent trends in the state. The DG charged the committee members to effectively discharge their responsibility according to laid down laws to achieve the desired objective.
I expect them to do very well and to handle it with God fearing. If anybody tampered with anything that not belongs to him, be you who in the committee, we will definitely treat you accordingly.
Chairman of the committee, Alhaji Samail Ahmed Rabe, appreciated the state government through its Nomadic Affairs Office for finding them worthy to serve, saying they will effectively carry out their duties so as to phase out cattle rustling in the state. Over 4,600 rustled cattle have so far been recovered in Niger State since the present administration created the Office of Nomadic Affairs in Mina. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
The first set of repentant Boko Haram insurgents been rehabilitated and de-radicalized by Operation Corridor of the Nigerian Army are beginning to graduate. Correspondent Safatu Abdul Mumuni, who reports from the rehabilitation camp in Gombe, said the 9 months intensive camping exercise also included skills acquisition training for the de-radicalized insurgents.
The first batch of 254 repentant Boko Haram insurgents who surrendered to the Nigerian army have been undergoing rehabilitation in Gombe State since July 2017. 95 of them have so far graduated, ready to be taken to their respective states for reintegration. Chief of Defense Staff General Abayomi Olonishekin said in a message that the repentant insurgents will be reunited with their families.
Their state governments will take adequate steps through the traditional institutions to see that these boys are well reconciled, resettled.
The coordinator, Operation Safe Corridor, General Bamidele Shafa, explained that 13 agencies were involved in the rehabilitation exercise to ensure good outcome. With the psychotherapy and religious counseling they received during the rehabilitation process, the camp coordinator, Colonel Adegoki Adetuyi, said the repentant Boko Haram insurgents have been fully rehabilitated, while next batch will also be due for graduation soon. Gombe State Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dangombo promised that the repentant Boko Haram insurgents will be treated with equity, justice and fairness.
The solution is not God, but there must be a dialogue, there must be understanding, there must be give and take.
After going through the rehabilitation and de-radicalization processes, reintegration is the next and most important aspect of the DRR program. To mark the graduation ceremony, a friendly football match was organized during which Team Repentant Boko Haram insurgents in black beat Team NYSC by 2-0. In Gombe, Shafa'atu Abdul Mumini, NTA News.
Contractors handling federal road projects in the northeast region have been asked to maintain the tempo of work and the federal government maintain prompt payment for certified work. The Northeast Zonal Director of Highways, Rufai Mohammed, gave the charge while inspecting road projects in the region. Works and Housing correspondent Muhammad Hamza Sheikh reports.
Mindful of the infrastructural decay as a result of long years of neglect, the Buhari administration since inception has been paying adequate attention to the provision and maintenance of infrastructure across the country. Although much is being done by the government in this sector, only little is seen by the public because of the enormity of the damage done over the years. For instance, in the Northeast sub-region, which has 23 ongoing federal road projects, work on hitherto impassable roads such as the Gombe-Numan-Iola Road is progressing steadily. Phase 2 of the project, 68-kilometer Gombe to Kaltungo, is almost 60% completed. Other projects inspected by the director in Gombe include Tumu Pindiga Kashere Road project, where work is also progressing with the construction of major bridges and culverts. In Bauchi State, the director inspected the Ningi Yadagungu Mefuskaramata Virgin Road project, phase 3. He also inspected Tudunwus, Wundi, Baraza, Durzumbul, Polchi, Kwanar Road, as well as Burga, Badagari, Gwarangwar, Sum Road, all in Bauchi State.
All the contractors are working. The payments, none of them is complaining of payment because we have paid them all, and activities are ongoing. Well, they should double up to ensure that maximum is achieved before the rainy season.
Engineer Rufai reminded the contractors that the ministry will not condone any work that is below specification. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
The federal government is intensifying efforts in depleting the huge housing deficit in the country as the officials of the housing ministry continue their inspection of housing projects under the National Housing Program in the North Central States. Housing correspondent Joseph Johnson was part of the team and now reports.
From the 80 units of housing in Laminga Community, Jos, to the 78 in Lafia, Nasarawa State, and over to the 72 units in Makadi, Benue State, the first phase of the project is gradually gathering momentum. Some of the locals from where these houses are built are taking advantage of the program in different ways, while others are merely working as laborers and food vendors to make ends meet. This mother of 5 tells me she is saving up money to secure a unit for her family.
Anytime government calls us, we'll be able to see something to present. That's why every day we come to the site, we serve.
The contractors confirmed to the team that quality is not compromised.
We are using Nigerian products, and honestly I can tell you we have a good material in Nigeria.
Meanwhile, a bit of a drama ensued when some aggrieved Benue youth barricaded the team from gaining access to the site. They have not been paid compensation for the land, they said.
Be relaxed that that which is due to you will be given to you in due course.
On the flip side, the warm hospitality of the Lamingas in Jos brought out the dancers in the ministry's officials. So much so that even yours truly wasn't spared in a dance that seemed more like the Gwara Gwara of South Africa. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Ahead of the kickoff of the Science, Technology and Innovation Expo 2018 at the Eagle Square in Abuja, Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Ogbonaya Ono says all arrangements have been made to host inventors and investors as the exhibition site is ready. The minister confirmed this after an inspection tour of the facility.
The Eagle Square, Abuja, now wearing a new look ahead of the Technology and Innovation Expo 2018, built for Monday 5th to Friday 9th March. Tents raised and well equipped as booths and pavilions for the different categories of exhibitors expected to grace the expo are already in shape. Minister of Science and Technology, after moving round the facility to inquire the level of readiness for the program, expresses satisfaction.
Well, I'm satisfied. We were here just 2 days ago. You can see all the booths are virtually up. the various institutes, even our universities have already started taking positions. So I am very happy and clearly we are ready because what this expo is supposed to achieve is to help bring inventors and investors together.
Expected exhibitors at the expo will be from research institutes, academic institutions, private inventors and innovators with research findings at the incubation stage.
In line with its constitutional responsibility of conducting accurate census to achieve credible data for proper planning, the National Population Commission has commenced enumeration area demarcation in the 16 states of the Federation. Olajide Bello reports that the chairman of the commission, Eze Duri-Hioma, says the plan is to establish and maintain a national framework for future census and surveys.
So whether census will hold in the next 10 years, or the preparation must start now, which is what this thing is all about. They make ourselves ready so that even on a short notice, okay, let there be census. Of course there be census, because if we successfully and completely cover all the local governments in this country, the journey is almost 3/4 done.
Of the exercise, the Commission would have successfully demarcated 103 local government areas, remaining 671. You're watching the news on NTA International. When we return, stories outside Nigeria will be on focus.
The whole problem started with the oil boom.
Because the parliament is the assembly of the people.
Frontiers, analyzing topical issues across the globe. It's analytical, educative, and incisive.
Traditionally, our people, are liberal in the sense that they sit down and dialogue among themselves.
The standards of the products that they bring into the country are not the same standards that they take in other countries where they invest in.
Let's look inwards and fight for the right thing always.
Explore all sides of issues, showing on NTA International every Wednesday at this time. Don't miss it.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogeruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
You're welcome back. The Japanese government has expressed willingness to strengthen ties with Nigeria and improve support for technological transfer to better the Nigerian economy. Japanese ambassador to Nigeria, Sadanobe Kosauki, was speaking at the Japan International Cooperation Agency Alumni Association of Nigeria annual anniversary celebration held in Abuja to promote socio-cultural development of the two countries.
It has become an annual event in which Nigerians and Japanese come together to socialize and take advantage of culture to further cement their relationship. This is on the platform of Japan International Cooperation Agency Alumni Association of Nigeria, marking the JICA Day. It is for major stakeholders to interact on improving the economy in manufacturing and technology cooperation with Japan.
Support very much for the Nigerian government pursuit to diversify the economy, because of course it's a good thing to have oil and gas, but at the same time you have to diversify the economy, you have to create more jobs in other sectors as well. And I think we have some experience to transfer to Nigeria in terms of manufacturing development.
With what we are doing, is going to promote, we employ all governments of Nigeria to really exploit the opportunities of Japanese government in Nigeria.
In the farm, there was no Kaizen. There was only Kaizen in the company. So your product will still be found one thing.
A Japanese strategic tool named Kaizen, which is to enhance increased productivity, superior quality, lower cost, efficient process and increased safety, was advocated as a model for local economy revitalization for Nigeria.
But we are saying that you should apply Kaizen in local economy revitalization program like OLOP. Nigerian OLOP is an up-down approach. We are saying it should become a movement, a down-up approach.
We're about 1,800, almost 2,000 that have been trained by the Japanese government in various sectors of the economy, and the attention is that we should help in developing our society, the Nigerian society. And many of us have played a leading role in that area, and we're still doing it.
Following the federal government's directive that the Nigerian Maritime University Okeren-Koko, Delta State 2017/2018 academic session takes off, the 5-man interagency committee headed by the Minister of Education Adamu Adamu swung into action. Latest information from our correspondent Loho Agbra, who has been monitoring the progress of activities in the institution, says recruitment of academic staff has commenced.
This is my third journey to the Nigerian Maritime University, Okeren-Koko, in Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, since its foundation laying ceremony in 2014. My second visit was to ascertain the status of structures and facilities of the institution. My visit now to the Maritime University is to ascertain the level of preparedness for the takeoff of 2017-2018 academic activities as directed by the federal government. My expectation was not cut short as I met critical stakeholders drawn from the National University Commission, Federal Character Commission, and other universities already assessing the competence of shortlisted candidates.
4 weeks ago, I was here to convey the federal government's approval and matching order to begin academic work.
Fully, lectures will start middle of next month. In that we've been able to do our admissions through JAMB. The government has been behind us. The Vice President of the country has been on top of the situation.
One of the over 1,300 applicants shortlisted gave an assessment of the exercise.
I took the exam and luckily for me too, I was among those that were selected for the oral interview. The process I think is transparent as far as I'm concerned.
It will be recalled that the federal government set up a 5-man interagency committee in May 2017, headed by the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, to midwife the commencement of the academic activities for 2017-2018. Elo Agbra, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress APC has emerged victorious by securing all 18 local council seats in the third March Edo State Local Council polls. The chairman of Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, Chief Stanley Orobato, while declaring the results, described the conduct of the election as peaceful and devoid of any irregularities. Steve Lonai, Waokolo, completes the report.
Chief Stanley Orobato, who congratulated the winners at the polls, enjoined them to live up to the standards with the government of the APC led by Governor Godwin Obaseki. The All Progressive Congress APC polled about 2,000,000 512,858 votes to emerge the overall winner of the local government election that featured 9 other political parties. They include Social Democratic Party SDP, National Conscience Party NCP, Action Democratic Party ADP, Progressive People's Alliance PPA, amongst others. Certificates of return are expected to be issued to the winners on Monday. In Benin, Steve Lonai Nwaokolo, NTA News.
A story recently went viral on the social media about a purported socialite, Sade, who was quite popular in the 70s, which earned her a lyric-in-chief commander, Ebenezer Obey struck board members. The post claims that Sade is now a destitute living in Ibadan. NTA News got wind of this and deployed a crew to confirm the story. Funke Ibi Damiton brought back their findings.
For many, the music of Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey remains evergreen.
Tanfiani, ènìyàn fẹ́ ní fọ̀rọ̀ Tanfiani.
Ipòkípò ta lè wà ká máa dúpẹ́ lọ́tọ̀. Ayé wa á tòrò, ìgbà wa á dára kalẹ̀.
Ìjáde mi kí n máa pàdé àgbákò. Ohun tí wọ́n jẹ ni mo ń wá lọ bàbá. Má jẹ́ n pàdé ohun tí ó jẹ mí.
Ọ̀rẹ́ mi ká má kúrò.
It was, however, shocking and heart-rending when a post by one self-acclaimed Oloye Abiola Iyiola referred to this destitute as the socialite Sade of the Sade Daralobinrin fame. NTA Ibadan News crew promptly moved out to verify this claim and found her by the gate of the Red Cross building at the Onireke area of Ibadan. On interaction, the destitute identified herself as Princess Josephine Folashade Ansah, but denied being the Sade in question.
I'm not.
Further interrogation, however, revealed that she is a bit uncoordinated.
What do you bring for me? You look at you are fresh, you are beautiful. Look at her, red and black. Look. My father gave it to me, Red Cross.
Your father gave you Red Cross?
Yes.
The building
yes.
Red Cross is using, or Red Cross itself?
Red Cross, ranch, everything.
Were you married?
Yes.
To who?
I did not marry, I'm just joking.
One thing that, however, caught our attention is her good memory of Ebenezer Obey's songs, which she recalled with nostalgia.
Wow.
Although efforts to speak with her host, Red Cross officials, met with a brick wall, an informant who would not speak on camera believes she is the socialite Sade, saying she maintained a high-profile lifestyle since she moved into the building about 10 years ago, up until an auto crash which left her incapacitated. Another respondent, who also declined comment on camera, however, insists that this destitute cannot be Sade Daralobinrin, as the Sade in question was a cloth merchant and not a sales executive that this Sade claims to have been. Efforts to track down her son, Oscar, who we learned is popular at the Okukpa market in Ibadan, also proved abortive. Well, whether this is Sade of the popular Sade Daralobinrin fame or not, one fact remains that this is a geriatric destitute who definitely, desperately needs your help.
It is practiced in some climes, but not a mainstream Igbo culture, that a man would take his blood sister as a wife. Therefore, it is with so much detestation that members of Agba community in Ekoloba town, Agwata local government area of Anambra State, react to the report of wedding between Chiadio Kaobi, Eze Bikwe, and his younger sibling Martha. Franklin Onyekachi, who visited the community, reports on the mood.
Reports have it that Chiadi Kobi, a 26-year-old teacher, had married his sister Martha, a 17-year-old SS2 student, with the consent of their parents. Enraged by the development, the eldest son of the family, Emeka, reported the issue to the community, and this attracted the ire of the youths who attacked the Sabbath place of worship.
This makeshift building behind me used to be a church building where two siblings were alleged to have been joined together as husband and wife. It was raised down by some irate youths of the community who wanted to show their disgust for what they termed an abomination, which they said had never occurred in the history of our community in Ekwulobia.
NTN News crew visited the family house of the Ezibekwes at Aba, where they were found busy with household chores. The parents of the alleged couple, Mr. and Mrs. Lewis and Josephine Ezibekwe, said they have the backing of the Bible from the Songs of Solomon, chapter 4. The bride, Martha, corroborated.
Nigerians. My father. But he said that so far we are heading from Bible, and it is free from Bible. We should continue. Let me say, nobody in this town joins to accord, but for me, I believe that God joins us, and the true visions and dreams that we have, that we join ourselves.
I believe the Bible says, instead of the word of God not to come to pass, let heaven and earth pass away. Some members of the community, however, describe the act as an abomination.
It is not proper, and even the people that is around this area, everybody is very, very angry about it, because it's not the son that it has never been happening in our area, so it's very, very bad.
You're not supposed to marry any sister at all. Therefore, this is our culture.
President General Ekwulobia Development Union, Pastor Chukwuemeka Ezike, said the marriage has been nullified by the community elders.
It is abomination. It is against the custom of the land, against the custom of Igbo land, custom of Nigeria, and also against the custom of the Bible. The both parties have also accepted, both the pastor that wedded them and the man himself and the woman have admitted that what they did was evil.
Pastor Ezike disclosed that the community has fixed a tentative date in the near future for a ritual to cleanse the land of the abominable acts.
Diversification in business may not be a bad idea, but it could become an issue when a professional, a medical doctor, so to speak, is alleged to have included armed robbery in his chains of business. Correspondent Keji Busari Ahmed has been on the trail of a weird discovery involving a medical doctor who allegedly engages in armed robbery.
One thing led to the other when the men of the Abuja Police Command nabbed some members of an alleged robbery gang who specialized in car snatching at gunpoint and high-profile house robbery, which eventually led them to the Vital Care Group of Hospitals in Kubwa, Buhari Area Council of the FCT, owned by Dr. Olasolomon Jimade, who is currently at large.
Why is he on the run? The people that were arrested, they are cooperating with the police. They say, yes, they went on operation with him. The firearms which they use in robbing the people in town was recovered in the hospital. They are carefully concealed in a bag with even a mask, a face mask. When he got the wind that policemen are there on his trail, when he ran out, he made a call. Unfortunately for him, the detectives were right there with the nurse that is to receive the call, so they collected the handset from her and then put it on speaker, and then they heard what he was saying. He was saying there's a bag there, take it and go and dump it inside the sockaway. So they quickly went in his office, checked where the bag is. Behold, when they opened it, 4 pistols were found and about 8 rounds of live ammunition and a face mask.
The Registrar, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, MDCN, Dr. Tajuddin Sanusi, a professional body responsible for the registration of qualified medical practitioners, who attested to the fact that the body has a matching name with similar details, but cannot conclude even if the photograph was the same. until Dr. Ola Solomon Jumade make a physical appearance.
The name is there. We are not sure if we are dealing with that same person. Okay.
Even if the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria still say they cannot readily match records and come out with a concrete position on the incident, these clips might be helpful.
My name is Dr. Ola Solomon Jumade. I am a medical doctor by profession. Right now, I'm the medical director and the group chairman of Vital Care Group of Hospitals in Abuja.
My son, Dr. Jumade Ola Solomon, he has seen himself as arriving, and I told him no. He rushed to go and buy Camry of the latest. We are now a big man. So, Dr. Jumade, if you are seeing me, you are nobody. By being in Abuja, Chief Medical Director, they call you.
Those were the words of a no-nonsense father to a son who lives larger than life. Yet, the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria still feel it will not give its position, even if it takes decades to find the alleged head of the robbery gang, Dr. Jumade. This, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Health, Senator Larry Tejuosho, says may not have happened if the 2014 Act of Medical Practice had been implemented by the Federal Ministry of Health.
We have this Act, 2014, it was signed into law by former President Jonathan, 2014, August in particular. The relevant message in that act for this particular question has to do with all health institutions must have what we call the certificate of standards. Up till now, I don't think we've started enforcing that since 2014.
Now, let's look at it this way. If Dr. Jumade's last contact with the MDCN, his professional body, was in the year 2011 when he got fully registered with the body, how then was he able to register the Vital Care Group of Hospitals under his name in 2016 without renewing his license with the MDCN for 5 years, being the requirement for hospital registration by the PRAMSI Health Secretariat, Abuja? A big question, you might say. Our quest to unravel this mystery took us to the Federal Capital Territory Private Health Establishment Registration and Monitoring Committee, PRAMSI, saddled with the responsibility of registering medical hospitals and facilities in Abuja, where an interview was declined, but availed us with the opportunity to go through the file labeled Vital Care Hospitals, where it was discovered that the due process of registration was not really followed after all, as one of the requirements, being the yearly renewed license by the MDCN, was not submitted. No one was available to explain this faltered due process, an anomaly in the registration.
They should be renewing the registration of the hospital annually. But even by our own record here, the last time we had contact with that name was 2011.
When next you are employing the services of a personal physician, it is time you take a proper check.
Celebration and jubilation dominated the atmosphere in NTA Osogbo, venue of the launch of the state digital switchover, as residents trooped out to be part of the epoch-making event and take advantage of the subsidized set-up boxes by the federal government so as not to miss out the opportunities inherent in the migration to digital TV broadcasting. Adebola Brooks and Son witnessed the event and now reports.
The talking drum welcomed dignitaries from all walks of life to the event. Osun State Governor Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola and his deputy, Grace Tomori, led key players in the industry to the control room to switch on the facilities. There was no dull moment as several artists, including Yetunde Lewi, performed to the admiration of guests. Speakers took turns to shower accolades on President Muhammadu Buhari for ensuring that Nigerians are not left out of the global revolution in TV broadcasting. The governor was ushered into the podium with this special rendition.
Broadcasting is no longer the preserve of anybody with money. Broadcasting is now available to whoever is interested in broadcasting, from video to audio and any other form you want to broadcast. Broadcasting is now open to all. To tell all of us who are artistically inclined, who are creative, who desire to market themselves, to portray and promote ideas and scholarship, to utilize this opportunity to the fullest. Yes, we now have a cheap means of television and radio broadcast, but we must control the content, because we cannot allow dubious people to take advantage of this.
Zonal Director Ibadan Network Center Jennifer Famosinkpe said NTA will continue to showcase the nation's cultural values through its programming.
There will be lots of airspace free for anybody that has anything to project. All the stations under NTA Ibadan Network Center, we are doing a mini network where we're exchanging programs. You know that NTA Ibadan oversees Kwara State too. So we have 4 states under us with 11 NTA stations. So we're going to have many programs.
Trying to promote culture in every area I am.
Currently, there are 28 channels running in the set-top boxes, which will be renewed after 1 year from the day of activation. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The news continues in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Say it as it is.
We always believe in going to mosque and going to church without looking at the nitty-gritty of even the family value.
If I am the president of the country or the Senate, we will publish every state what they collected, and in the next 6 months we'll go to the state to say, if nothing has happened in this state, hold your governor to ransom.
Without that bill in place, no scientist in Nigeria is allowed to practice.
Issues of the moment. Join us every Tuesday on NTA International at 7:30 p.m. Issues of the moment. Let your opinion count.
NTA International. This is where the news begins. Every breaking news and developments on the African continent.
Welcome to NTA International News. State House correspondent Hamza Musa.
In-depth news analysis and professional perspectives on all sides of the story.
Experts say the issue of security
national energies and resources must be mobilized to promote mass.
Every day on NTA International, we take you inside Africa and the world.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thank you for staying with us. Now from other parts of the world, we have reports that Zimbabwean villagers who were evicted from Manzo farm in Mazowe by the then First Lady Grace Mugabe have reportedly been awarded more than $30,000 as compensation by the court. The villagers were evicted in spite of a court order granting them reprieve to stay on the farm until government secured alternative land for them. During the forced evictions, police destroyed homesteads, household furniture, and villagers' crops, including maize and groundnuts. Germany Chancellor Angela Merkel is set to form her fourth government after the opposition Social Democrats voted in favor of another grand coalition. The vote by 464,000 rank-and-file members ends 5 months of deadlock since September's election. The Social Democrats had been split between the party's leadership, which backed joining the coalition, and its radical youth wing, which did not. Social Democrats voters approved continuing the coalition with 66% in favor. Let's now join Obiageli Ugoki on the stories that made headlines in the world in the past 6 days.
Glad to have you join us on the world in 6 days. Malawi launched a new generation of typhoid vaccines, making it the first country in Africa using it to fight typhoid infections in children. Health workers registered at least 100 new cases of typhoid and is said to be a high-risk area. The new vaccine, approved by World Health Organization, is meant to test cost-effectiveness of the typhoid conjugate vaccine. About 24,000 children benefited from the study funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Away from health, new South African President Cyril Ramaphosa announced his cabinet. He reappointed Lelali Nene as finance minister, reversing his sacking by the former president Jacob Zuma. President Ramaphosa retained several ministers appointed by his predecessor, but other former allies of the former president were demoted and some dismissed. And meanwhile, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says that land reform in the country requires urgent attention, and the government has commenced talks with the mining sector over a new version of an industry charter. Mr. Ramaphosa said this at a meeting in Parliament with traditional leaders on land issues after he made changes to his cabinet Monday night. Away from South Africa, a former regional newspaper editor, Michael McCormack, was chosen as Australia's new Deputy Prime Minister. He replaced Barnaby Joyce as leader of governing coalition's junior partner. Former Deputy Prime Minister Joyce resigned on Friday over his affair with a former staff after holding the post for 2 years. In Tanzania, opposition Prime Minister Joseph Mbileye was sentenced to 5 months in prison after being found guilty of defaming President John Magufuli. A report says Mbileye, popularly known as Sugu, and co-accused from the opposition party were convicted by a magistrate court in the southwestern town of Mbeya. The two were accused of committing hate speech against President Magufuli December 30th last year. Observers, however, say the court's ruling will deepen concerns that the president's intolerance of dissent is eroding Tanzanian democracy. In Cambodia, a municipal court ordered the seizure of the headquarters of the country's former opposition party, which was dissolved last November after ruling that it was involved in trying to overthrow the government of Prime Minister Hun Sen. A lawyer for Hun Sen said that the court ruled that the headquarters of the Cambodian National Rescue Party be seized because the party's former leader, Sam Rainsy, failed to pay $1 million judgment against him for defaming Hun Sen and another ruling party leader. The case is generally seen as part of an intense push by Hun Sen's government to neutralize political opponents and silence critics ahead of a general election in July. That's the package. The news continues.
And now talking sports, Nigeria Cricket Federation puts machinery in motion to host the International Cricket Council ICC 2020 sub-regional qualifiers in Lagos as the 2018 African Cadel Junior Fencing Tournament hosts up in Lagos. Adeola Mokive has more on Sports Update.
Towards ensuring that the Nigerian Cricket Federation stages the befitting regional qualifiers, the Cricket Oval at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos is undergoing a facelift.
Within the next 5 weeks, all of these facilities will be put in place.
The facility was inspected by Mr. Kuben Pile, an ICC representative who reiterated ICC's resolve to develop the sports by giving hosting rights to developing countries.
What our tournament will do in terms of legacy will leave this organization, this planning, all of these upgrades are here for Nigeria cricket.
The first Africa Junior and Cadet Fencing Championship holding in Lagos, Nigeria is featuring 150 fencers from 13 countries in the team and individual events. As at day 3, Egypt led the medals table with 2 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze medals, while Algeria is in second position with 1 silver. Nigeria's Orishe Matosan Egbeshe Mirone recorded Nigeria's first bronze medal in the male cadet foil event.
It's the first time we're having such an event in Nigeria, and also the fact that it was officially confirmed that
This is the largest African fencing championship in the last 8 years.
Akwa Ibom State government says to contribute to national development, young talents should be developed through sports. Imo Etimudo in Uyo reports that the remark was made at the draws for the second Akwa Ibom Youth Sports Festival.
It is only a bit like this that can fathom them out and give to the world.
The Nigerian Women Football League curtain raiser for the 2017-2018 season, the Champions Shield, held Sunday in Lagos. Rivers Angels were crowned champions after beating Nasarawa Amazons 4-3 in penalties after a 1-1 draw at regulation time. Second Vice President of the Nigerian Football Federation and Chairman League Management Company, Shehu Diko, has been inducted into the FIFA Football Stakeholders Committee. The induction was performed by the FIFA President, Gianni Infantino. With Sports Update, Adeola Omokivie, NTA News.
The federal government has sent a high-power delegation to condole the people of Kazauri Emirate in Jigawa State over the death of Hajia Maria Abdullahi, mother of the state protocol, Ambassador Lawal Abdullahi Kazauri. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
The federal government delegation, led by the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, was received by the State Chief of Protocol, Lawal Abdullahi Kazauri. Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, who spoke on behalf of the delegation, read the condolence message to the family and people of Kazauri, expressed President concern over the demise of Hajia Maria. Malami urged them to take solace and prayed for Allah's mercy on her. Earlier, the delegation were at the Emir's Palace, Kazauri, and received by Magajingari Ibrahim Muhammad, where they extend President Buhari's condolence.
It is equally a national loss. So it's on account of this that the President set up this team under the leadership of the Chief of Staff, Malam Abba Kyari, made up of some ministers and some of his personal aides, to come here to Kazauri to condole the family. The President's wish is God will forgive the deceased and also give the fortitude to the family members to bear the irreparable loss.
State Chief of Protocol, Ambassador Kazauri, thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for sending powerful delegation to commiserate with them.
Indeed, short of words to express how deeply grateful I am to Mr. President for finding it exigent to send a high-power delegation to come and condole with us. This is a mark of love, or a show of love, and it is something that one will really treasure for Mr. President.
Late Hajia Maria died last Wednesday at the age of 85. She left behind 3 children and 13 grandchildren, among whom is Ambassador Lawal Kazauri. From Kazauri, Jigawa State, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And before we go, a quick check on Monday's weather prospect in Nigeria and some cities of the world.
Thank you for joining us on the weather segment. Sunny and dry conditions are anticipated over the northern cities, and this is expected to last throughout the forecast period, while partly cloudy to cloudy skies are anticipated over the central down to the coastal states. As the day progresses, isolated cases of thunderstorms are probable over Abeokuta, Ibadan, Akure, Benin, Ikom, Abakaliki, and the coastal states. Next is temperature forecast. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.
A weather forecast there ends the news on NTA International. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Justin Bemunyi.